The silent war, the vast kingdom of Lothmar, with its shimmering rivers and sprawling forests, had known centuries of prosperity. The sun bathed its cities in golden light, and its people lived in harmony under the guidance of the Council of Aran, a group of wise leaders chosen not by birthright, but by their connection to the sacred magic of the land. This magic was the lifeblood of the Lothmar, flowing through the earth, the water, and even the air. But the peace was fragile, bound by an ancient secret known only to the Council and those sworn to protect it. The land's magic, though abundant, was not limitless. It was maintained by a delicate balance that few understood, and even fewer could control. If the balance was disturbed, the consequences would be catastrophic. A fact that the people of Lothmar were about to learn. Mira, a young girl of no notable lineage, had grown up in the quiet village of Ilder, far to the north, where the great Holspire Mountains cast long shadows over the land. Life in Ilder was simple. The people farmed the land, fished in the rivers, and worshipped the gods of the old ways, offering thanks for each harvest and every breath of clean air. But Mira had always been different. While other children played or helped their parents in the fields, Mira spent her days wandering the wilds beyond the village, climbing trees and exploring caves. She had always felt a strange pull to the wilderness, as though something there was calling to her, whispering secrets in the rustle of leaves and the flow of rivers. Her father, Baran, a stern but loving man, often scolded her for her wandering ways. "Stay close to the village, Mira," he would say, his brow furrowed with concern. "The wilds are no place for a child, especially one who does not know her place." But Mira could not heed his warnings. There was something in the wilds, something she felt in her bones. And one day, when she was barely 16 summers old, she found it. It was late autumn when Mira ventured deep into the Thornwell, a vast forest that stretched far beyond the borders of Ilder. The trees stood tall and ancient, their branches twisted and gnarled, as though they had seen centuries of secrets. The air was cool, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. As she wandered deeper into the forest, Mira felt a strange warmth settle in her chest, a quiet hum that grew stronger with every step. She followed it, her heart pounding in her ears, until she reached a small clearing. At the center of the clearing stood an ancient stone, covered in moss and runes that glowed faintly in the dim light. The hum in her chest grew louder, and without thinking, Mira stepped forward and placed her hand on the stone. The moment her fingers touched the cold surface, a surge of energy shot through her. Her vision blurred, and for a moment, the world around her seemed to fade away. She saw flashes of things she couldn't understand, images of great battles, of flames consuming forests, of a tower crumbling into dust. And then she saw a face, a woman's face, with eyes as cold as ice and a smile that sent a chill down her spine. The vision faded as quickly as it had come, leaving Mira breathless and shaken. She stumbled back, her hands still tingling from the contact, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something had changed, that she had touched something ancient and powerful. When she returned to the village that evening, her father knew something was different. He didn't ask, though. He never did. But he watched her more closely after that, his brow furrowed in a way that made Mira uneasy. Weeks passed, and Mira tried to forget about the stone and the vision she had seen. But the hum she had felt in the forest never fully left her. It It was always there, a quiet thrum at the edge of her consciousness. And then, in one night, it grew stronger. Mira awoke with a start, her heart pounding. The air in her small room was thick with tension. As though something was about to happen, she threw off her blankets and rushed to the window, only to see something that made her blood run cold. A figure stood at the edge of the village, cloaked in shadow. Their eyes glowed faintly in the darkness, and though they were too far away for her to see clearly, Mira knew it was the woman from her vision. She blinked, and the figure was gone. But the hum in her chest had turned into a roar. Without thinking, she grabbed her cloak and slipped out of the house, her feet carrying her toward the forest. She had no idea where she was going, but she knew she had to follow the pull of the magic that now coursed through her veins. The forest was dark, the trees looming above her like silent sentinels. But Mira moved through the undergrowth with ease, her steps light and sure. She didn't know how long she walked, only that the pull grew stronger with every step, guiding her deeper into the thorn well than she had ever gone before. Finally, she reached the clearing with the ancient stone once again. But this time, she was not alone. Standing before the stone was the woman from her vision, her icy blue eyes gleaming in the moonlight. She was tall and slender, her silver hair flowing like a river of light down her back. She wore a cloak of deep blue, clasped at the throat, with a pendant in the shape of a crescent moon. "Who are you?" Mira demanded, though her voice trembled. The woman turned to face her, a small smile playing at the corners of her lips. "You already know who I am, child," she said, her voice as soft as the wind through the trees. "You felt it the moment you touched the stone." Mira took a step back, her heart racing. "I don't understand." The woman's smile widened, but there was no warmth in it. "You will, soon enough. The magic of this land flows through you, as it has through those who came before you. But it is dying, and with it, so too will the world you know." Mira frowned, confusion and fear swirling in her chest. "Dying? How can magic die?" "The balance has been broken," the woman said, her voice hardening. "For centuries, the Council of Aran has hoarded the magic of Lothmar, using it to maintain their power while the rest of the land withers. But they cannot control it forever. The time has come for the old ways to fall, and for a new power to rise." Mira shook her head, taking another step back. "I don't want any part of this." The woman's eyes narrowed. "You don't have a choice, child. The magic has chosen you, and you will play your part whether you like it or not." Before Mira could respond, the woman raised her hand, and the world around her shifted once more. The clearing, the stone, the trees, all of it seemed to blur and twist, until Mira was standing in the center of a vast battlefield. The sky above was dark and roiling, filled with storm clouds and flashes of lightning. The ground beneath her feet was littered with the bodies of the fallen, and in the distance, she could see the ruins of a great tower. At the center of the battlefield stood a figure, a man clad in armor as black as night, his eyes burning with a fierce, unnatural light. He held a sword in his hand, its blade dripping with dark energy. And as Mira watched, he raised the sword high and brought it crashing down upon the earth, splitting the ground beneath him in two. The vision ended abruptly, and Mira was once again standing in the clearing, gasping for breath. The woman watched her, her expression unreadable. "War is coming, Mira," she said quietly. "A war that will decide the fate of all Lothmar. You cannot run from it." Mira returned to the village that night, her mind racing with what she had seen. She tried to put it out of her head, tried to convince herself that it was just a dream, but the hum in her chest told her otherwise. The magic was real, and the war was coming. She didn't tell her father about the woman or the vision. She didn't tell anyone. But as the days passed, she began to notice changes in the village. The crops withered in the fields, and the river that had once flowed so freely began to run dry. The animals grew restless, and strange lights flickered in the sky at night. And then, one evening, as the sun set behind the mountains, the first riders appeared on the horizon. They came from the south, clad in black armor, their banners bearing the sigil of a broken crown. At their head rode a man with eyes like fire, his sword gleaming in the fading light. Mira knew, without a doubt, that this was the man from her vision, and with him, the war had begun. The battle for Lothmar raged for months, spreading like wildfire across the kingdom. The Council of Aran, long content in their power, found themselves facing an enemy they did not understand. The magic that had once sustained them was fading, and the dark forces that had risen in its place threatened to consume the land. Mira watched from the sidelines, unsure of her place in the conflict. But the woman's words echoed in her mind. The magic has chosen you. One night, as the battle drew closer